The following paid advertisement for The Best Little Whorehouse Goes Public is brought to you by Westward Productions. Remember that great Broadway musical, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, and how Dolly Parton used to sing, "There ain't nothing dirty going on"? Well, there is something dirty going on in here, and if not, I bet you somebody's going to ask for their money back. Hi there, I'm Jim Caldwell, and this is a brothel. This is a whorehouse, if you will, but there's nothing illegal going on here because we're in Lyon County, Nevada, where prostitution is allowed by law. Now, you probably know that such places exist, but what you may not know is that the U.S. government has tried to keep some bawdy houses running. True story. And of course, the federal government being what it is, it tries to run a whorehouse like it's running a widget factory. This is a wild story. Imagine a bankruptcy trustee of the U.S. government, a button-down executive woman, by the way, appointed by the Justice Department, descending down upon houses of ill repute, not to foreclose, but to run them. Only in America. The world's oldest profession will never be the same.
It's a big blast of a show.
Brand new story.
I thought it was made up.
Brand new set of circumstances.
It happens in gambling land.
Prostitution is legal in Nevada, and you can get around this, and it actually happened. This guy did this.
With the brothels, cash flow is not a problem.
It's unbelievable.
It's all true.
The best little what?
Whorehouse.
A common whorehouse.
Every man's fantasy.
But I love you, dog.
An original American musical.
Feel it in person is the excitement of it. It crackles.
This musical is a hoot.
And we invented it, this country.
Everybody's talking about The Best Little Whorehouse Goes Public, the brand new American musical comedy that's just outrageous. And over the next half hour, we're going to be taking you behind the scenes to feel the emotions, the thrills, the challenges, and the fun of bringing a hit show to Broadway. What'd you think of it?
Well, it's brand new, and it's something that's needed here on Broadway. A brand new show, a brand new idea, and brand new women.
The women were unbelievable.
It was worth it just watching the girls for the hour.
Now, the women people are talking about don't see themselves as the stars. They're just thrilled to be working with some of Broadway's most creative talent.
Of course, he's Tommy Tune. To tell one of your friends that you're working with Tommy Tune right now, their mouth will just hang to the ground.
Oh, Tommy Tune, he wants everything perfect, but in such a way because you want yourself to look perfect.
When I discovered Broadway, I realized that it was different than any other form of entertainment in that you get a story, you get laughs, you get tears, you get dancing, you get singing, you get scenery, you get color, lovely movement. All of these things all put together, and there's an excitement there that doesn't exist in any other form of entertainment but Broadway.
That's what entertainment is about. I think very often we forget about what entertainment is. We get spoiled. We sit home and watch television. It's that kind of lukewarm entertainment very often. And we forget what really funny jokes are and what really great-looking women are and what wonderful dancing is.
For a dancer to be dressed by Bob Mackie, that's something very special because as a dancer and a woman, you want to look beautiful, and I don't think anybody else can make you look as beautiful as Bob Mackie could in a costume.
This set of dance dresses, I guess you could call them, they're hardly dresses, they just barely cover their crotch. Now you could come up a little bit on that side, a little down on this side, a little up on that side, and then we'll have just a perfect bosom. Perfect bosom, yes. Those are the first time you see the girls out on the street. They have their little pocketbooks and their little high shoes, and they're really, you know, they're working the strip in Las Vegas. This is the first time you see our ladies of the evening, and I wanted them to be fun. Really good time ladies.
us that it isn't pretty in a town like this, where everything's legal. War is Gomorrah and sick as Sodom. All the things you want, we got 'em in a town like this, where everything's legal.
I must say that there are probably 12, 14 young women chorus girls in there that would make an old man like myself leave home almost. I mean, they are beautiful young ladies. They are talented young ladies. They dance well. They sing well. Their costumes are quite revealing, I suppose you might say. They look very good in them. Every time I see them, I think, yeah, that's a girl and I'm a boy.
Larry King is playful and he does love the ladies.
Larry King, who's a great screenwriter and has got a mouth on him like you wouldn't believe.
Larry L. King was a speechwriter for Lyndon Johnson before becoming one of the nation's favorite authors. A noted raconteur with a reputation for telling it like it is, Larry co-wrote The Best Little Whorehouse Goes Public with Pete Masterson, who also is co-directing with Tommy Tune. Pete is a noted film director who's married to actress Carlin Glynn, the original Mona Stangley from The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. The music and lyrics to both that show and this totally new one are from their longtime Texas friend Carol Hall, perhaps the best American songwriter on Broadway today. Together, they took an incredible true story and made it even better.
This is about Vegas, and this is about the IRS, and this is about Wall Street. This is about going straight and how corrupt that can be.
We start with the Internal Revenue Service seizing a brothel in Nevada for not paying its back taxes. And then what happens? Now, what's the IRS going to do? The Internal Revenue Service man doesn't want to come out there and run this. It'd be bad for his image. So they appoint a young woman tax agent, whom they're more or less throwing to the wolves, they think, to go out and collect the back taxes by operating this brothel in the name of the Internal Revenue Service.
Well, we got a telephone call from our original producer who asked if we wanted to do a follow-up to the original story, which had taken place in Texas. And we all said no, because we were not interested in repeating ourselves. And she said, yes, but there's this very interesting woman who was on television talking about being a bankruptcy trustee and running a bordello.
I've been a bankruptcy trustee since 1977. So during that time period, I have run a lot of different businesses. Prostitution is legal in the state of Nevada. And about in early 80s, I was approached to run a brothel. You get some people who, scream and yell that, we're the federal government, we shouldn't be in running these businesses.
So she's wise enough to go get Mona Stangley, the original chicken house madam in Texas, and bring her out and make her a deal to operate the thing for them.
There's only one character left from the original Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, and that's Mona. Everybody else has gone their own separate way, and we don't find out about them, but we stick with her.
The IRS agent tells her that prostitution is legal in Nevada, and she says, wait a minute, let me get this straight. You're saying Uncle Sam will pay me to do in Nevada the same thing Texas will lock me up for? She says, that's right. And Mona says, one of these days I gotta get around to reading the Constitution.
The young lady tax agent makes her a financial proposition to go back to Nevada and help her run the place for IRS and collect back taxes.
And she says, yep, okay, and takes the bull by the horns and says goodbye to good old boys sucking on their long neck beers. I cannot see the rear end of them too fast.
I'm leaving Texas, and the more that I've been thinking, have to come right out and say I ain't too sad. I'm leaving Texas, and my heart it is not sinking. No, it pitter-pats away, 'cause it's so glad. Goodbye to good old boys, sucking on their long neck beers, bellies hanging out like sleeping hogs. Goodbye to listening to them sing about their mamas while they treat their wives and sweethearts just like dogs. Dirty dogs. It's hell, this Texas, yeah, it's dusty and it's barren. It's got a lot of chiggers, ticks, and gnats. Farewell to Texas and to women with big hair and all those men in high-heeled boots and stupid hats. Goodbye to of bowls of chili. Never really liked it much. I gotta say, it always gave me gas. Goodbye to rodeos and watching big old cowboys wrestle steers until they both fall on their ass. We're going far here and I hope nobody sees us. You drive a car here, better honk if you love Jesus. So to rattlesnakes and horny toads, old dead skunks on country roads, hauling pipe, crawling hogs, centipedes and pit bull dogs. Now for someone hears this song in Texas, I'm leaving Texas.
Moving on and changing are major themes in this show. And in a few moments, we're going to show you how these Broadway dancers are changing into the world's classiest call girls, courtesy of superstar designer Bob Mackey.
I want to see gorgeous goddesses in here when I arrive, okay?
Yes, sir. I don't think I have enough makeup.
But first, let's take a look at the renovation of an historic Broadway landmark. These guys are working on the Lunt-Fontanne Theater, the Broadway home of the best Little Whorehouse Goes Public. You know, the Lunt's been the home of some of the greatest musicals of all time, from the Ziegfeld Follies to Peter Pan, even The Sound of Music. But truth be told, even some of the great shows have had some pretty crummy seats. Well, the producers of the best Little Whorehouse Goes Public, they are going the extra mile for you. On this very cold morning, they are ripping out all of the seats of the historic Lunt. The new seats get rid of all the problems that have plagued theater goers for years. First, they're staggered, so you see between the people in front of you. On top of that, they're raked, so you see over people's heads. The bottom line, no bad seats. And you'll be the first to use them. Modern design, cushions with all the bounce, no gummy bears underneath those seats. The producers want to make sure that the best Little Whorehouse Goes Public is the best evening possible for you. So what are you waiting for? Your seat is waiting. You know, music and dance really help set the tone in this show, but the authors have gone one step further. They're using a stand-up comic played by Jim David. Now, he pops up all over the place, explaining the action, helping to advance the story, sometimes just thumbing his nose at everything that's going on.
If you watch Jim David, deliver his material and you don't laugh, hey, I got bad news for you, you've been dead about 6 months.
I'm just fascinated by what people do, because this is what I do. You're looking at it. And I really admire all of you people who work in an office, because I could never do it, because I have no respect for authority. I mean, the boss would come over to me, Mr. David, I'm not too pleased with this report. Well, then go to hell. How an idiot like you ever got into a position of power is one of the great mysteries of the universe. You are totally ruled by your menstrual cycles, which in a man is an embarrassment. I couldn't do it. I don't want you to think that the show is silly, because it's not. It's very gutsy, kind of humor. It's got a lot of moments where the audience might go, the religious right put out a thing that they said it was a mortal sin to vote for Bill Clinton. So not only did I vote for Clinton, I'm while I did it.
He's a screaming rehearsal. I mean, we call him the joke slave. He moves us along, and he makes big jumps, so we don't have to go through all this. Plays have exposition, and exposition is the boring part. I like to get through the exposition to get to, okay, what's next?
Yes, Senator Harry A. Hardast, a Southern fried politician, takes great moral umbrage and great indignation at the fact that stock's going to be sold in a common hoe house to the great American public.
The phone was ringing off the hook. We had a lot of calls from people, but the one that I think about was from the senator from Texas, I believe, who is screaming over the phone, "What the hell is the federal government doing running a brothel?"
Never in all my years as a God-fearing, scripture-spouting, strictly monogamous public servant and guardian of our nation's morals have I ever been more outraged than upon learning that the godless, money-changing minions of Wall Street, in cahoots with the confiscating rascals of the IRS and the permissive scoundrels of the SEC, are corrupting the sacred capitalistic marketplace through selling stock issued by a common hoe house. Let all those having a hand in this devil's plot know they have seriously offended me and Jesus. These no-goodniks may expect subpoenas from our Senate do-good, act right, and stand tall pious investigating committee for hearings starting next Thursday at 10 a.m. before God and everybody. And I pledge, my friends, that after a thorough, fair, bipartisan, democratic hearing, we'll nail their sorry hides to the wall. So help me God and Robert E. Lee.
Well, so help us. In a few minutes, a trip to a real Nevada whorehouse. But first, we're about to nail the sorry hides of some real scoundrels on Broadway. Have you tried to buy good seats on Broadway lately? How far in advance did you have to buy? And what did you pay? $150? $300? Certainly no Broadway show has ticket prices that high, but often you can only get the really good seats from scalpers. You know, they're called ticket agencies these days. They take the best seats and get ridiculous prices for them. Just listen to some phone conversations I had with some ticket agencies trying to get seats for some shows that weren't even sold out.
I have two in the 6th row center, and they're running $160 each.
Basically, most of them will run you between $135 and $155.
You said $155?
Mm-hmm.
So 2 tickets. What would be the total?
Be $310 and 5% on a credit card, $325.50.
You know, it's because of outrageous prices just like those that the producers of The Best Little Whorehouse Goes Public have put together this infomercial. We're getting past the scalpers by going direct to you. We'll give you the best seats in the house, orchestra seats, and we'll give them to you at 25% off. You can't beat it. Seats are only $48.75 each during previews. We've even saved you on the service and handling charges. And this offer ends soon, though, so you gotta call 1-800-BROTHEL for a great night out on Broadway. And be sure to tell them Tommy sent you for great seats at discount prices. Call now. This spring, the Lunt-Fontanne Theater unveiled a new star, a 30-foot call girl, perhaps the only woman in the world taller than Tommy Tune. Tommy's the guiding force behind New York's only legal whorehouse. He's won 9 Tony Awards, more than anyone in history. What is it about his style?
God, he's unique, isn't he? Part of it's what you're seeing right now. His spirituality, his love. Basically, I think it's his love for people and his love for the theater.
I haven't created a flop Broadway musical yet. And I don't intend to start with The Best Little Whorehouse Goes Public. It's a big blast of a show. It cannot be shown on your little television screen. It can't. It's impossible. People can find reality on the streets. They don't have to come to a Broadway show for reality. I like to start with reality and then boost it up and send it out stronger, higher, deeper, more colorful, more outrageous. That's the essence of a Broadway show.
Of course, one of the most important elements for any big Broadway musical is the set. And we turned to designer John Arnone, who had won a Tony for the Who's Tommy, and he came up with a terrific set. I think it's a great backdrop for the Bob Mackie costumes and for the whole story. Of course, on Broadway, it's bigger, and so are the girls.
Hey, you're here. Come on in.
Hi.
Hey, you must be Christina.
Yes.
Well, Tommy doesn't, he doesn't hire 4'9" chunky girls. He hires the most beautiful, the longest legs, the most beautiful hair and skin. I mean, it's like really a pleasure. These are the girls on the street with their bags and the shoes. Why don't you get your hair kind of, pumped up a little bit, put some makeup on. I'll be back in 20 minutes or so.
All right.
I want to see gorgeous goddesses in here when I arrive, okay?
Yes, I don't think I have enough makeup.
I can see there's a change in me. Something's been rearranging me, and I like it.
Hey, look.
I like what I'm seeing here. You turned me into a new human being here, and I'm feeling so strange. It's been a real big change.
And look, you got special little glittery pants. So,
Are these the earrings?
in case anything
I
shows.
need those.
And it swings around.
Something is lifting me. I was foggy, a bumbling loser. You turned me into a Lollapalooza. What a lovely exchange. It's been a real big change.
Yeah, I want to get you a nice big bracelet.
nice and
That'll
short.
come later. Yeah.
Oh, this is fabulous.
And then you have your little split here, see? Little leg area.
It's a shame she has
Want to show us your shiny crotch?
You couldn't make the slits any higher. When that curtain goes up opening night and I'm in this sexy little costume walking out on stage, my husband is going to be holding his breath.
Just the other night, I was talking to my mother on the phone, and she goes, well, I hear it's pretty racy, is it? And I go, Mom, no. I said, actually, it's pretty clean. You can rest assured that you'll feel comfortable sitting out in the house, and I feel comfortable being on stage.
And you know, I can be a little trashy and still be legitimate here on Broadway. And I said, well, why don't we make them, put them in, you know, every man's fantasy. And so we have a cheerleader, we have the perfect little chef who cooks for, you know, it's part of the whole sexual thing. We have Nefertiti, we have Lolita, the little nymphette who's, you know, the funny heart-shaped glasses.
My husband will love to see me in these costumes, as I hope everyone else will.
And then I get to have costumes done for me. I get shoes for me. They trace your feet and everything. I can't even believe it.
And when I put it on, it just fit so amazing. I was so happy. I just thought, this is going to be a fabulous show to be in.
It's The Best Little Whorehouse Goes Public, a brand new musical comedy from one of Broadway's top creative teams. The story's outrageous but true. Federal courts sent this Nevada grandmother to run a series of whorehouses, the money going to the IRS. Only in America, folks, and now only on Broadway. Call 1-800-BROTHEL right now. Give them the secret phrase, Tommy sent me, and you'll get 25% off the best seats in the house. 25% off. Call 1-800-BROTHEL. This offer ends soon. Call right now.
This is based on a true story. There have been brothels that operated that failed to pay taxes. So if this is true, then what happens? A tax collector comes to collect the money.
And you get a moral issue along with that, especially from some parts of the country where they don't understand that brothels are legal in some parts of the state of Nevada.
You know, when the authors went to Nevada to meet Jerry Copa, they had to learn about real-life brothels. And Larry L. King and Pete Masterson just had to do a little research on the side, you know. Isn't that true, Larry?
I stand on my Fifth Amendment rights, and I shall not answer that question. No, actually, my writing partner and I, Peter Masterson, we did visit some brothels to talk with the young ladies and get the conversational lay of the land, so to speak.
And so Larry and I went in and you know, were kind of a little bit shy, and they came out and lined up and said their names and whatnot.
Are you ready to have some fun? My name's Tanya. Let's go party.
We said, why don't we have a drink first? And we went over to the bar, and a couple of them came over and hit on us.
Ever seen a two-girl show?
Then if you wish to make a selection, you point at Vera or Ruth or whoever can then what passes for romance, which may not be exactly love, but may not be too bad, happens. You know, my wife, she didn't expect me to go out there and fall in love, and I didn't. Pete Masterson fell in love, now with a tattooed blonde, but he denies it.
Larry swore that one of them fell in love with me, but I don't think so.
We're doing illusion, we're doing entertainment. Show business is magic. We make use of it with artistic licenses, and so we give you beautiful women with very fine bodies and long, long tap dancing legs. You know, these are actresses, not real-life prostitutes.
My mother was born in Japan. So when I said I'm doing The Best Little Whorehouse Goes Public, she's like, the best little what? I said, the best little whorehouse. It took her like 10 times to realize what I was saying, and I finally said, whorehouse, like a hooker. She died.
What a great story. What a great show. What a great offer. All for what's bound to be an award-winning hit show on Broadway. The Best Little Whorehouse Goes Public. But you gotta do something right now. You gotta call 1-800-BROTHEL. Give them the secret code, Tommy sent me, for great savings, great seats, and a perfect night out on Broadway. Now remember, the new seats get rid of all the problems that have plagued theater goers for years. First, they're staggered, so you see between the people in front of you. On top of that, they're raked, so you see over people's heads. Call now. Your seat's waiting.
Brand new story, brand new set of circumstances. In this show, the music's big and brassy and funny, lots of funny songs. So I'm able to actually use a lot of jazz influences.
Oh, we haven't spoken about Carol Hall's score, and I'd love to, because she is in a comfort zone right now. She's batting great with these songs.
That's what's fun about this process is one day there's no song, then the next day there's a song.
Carol Hall has written a beautiful song called It's Been a While.
These two people, Mona and Sam, have not seen one another in 10 years. And they've had a conversation on the phone, one conversation in 10 years. And most of us have had that feeling, you know, you hear that old familiar timbre in a voice, and you feel that old familiar flutter if you're lucky.
Sam is and Mona are from each other's past. I think they were maybe sweethearts from an early, like a first love.
And so she calls this guy who knew her probably 20 years ago, maybe as a high school kid.
And I don't think they ever knew each other, if you know what I'm saying, in the biblical sense.
She was the kind of girl he thought, yeah, that's who I want, I want somebody like that.
And they haven't spoken in 20 years. So they're both, that, oh my God, how would it be if you ran into or spoke to a person that you really cared for, but in 20 years and life got in the way?
It's been a while, I wonder what she looks like now. When we were talking, she sounded just the same somehow. I felt that thing, that funny little knocking on wood. I wonder, will she think I look good? It makes me smile, just thinking that it's been a while.
It's been a while, don't even try to figure when I heard him laughing and everything came back again. I felt that thing, but maybe I'm just tempting my fate. I wonder, have I put on some weight?
No, this is wrong. It's been a while, yeah, probably too long. I'm older, wiser, will I recognize her? I'm crazy as a cat up a tree.
I'm a grown-up, maybe I should own up.
All this is middle age and memory. It's been a while, and funny how the time just flies. She's standing here now, I'm looking right into her eyes. I feel that thing that memory doesn't rearrange. I wonder, will she think that I've changed? It makes me smile, thinking that it's been a, memories are so sweet. Thinking that it's been a, when you're counting crow's feet. Thinking that it's been a while.
I can feel it in my bones that the thing is going to take off. And if you don't get your tickets now, you're going to be waiting for a year.
And you want to see the original cast. And that's us, and we're now.
Wicked is Sodom and Gomorrah. How can anyone not adore a little town like this, where everything's legal? Here is the tale of our fair city, though we must add it isn't pretty. In a town like this, where everything's legal. War is Gomorrah and sick as Sodom. All the things you want, we got 'em. In a town like this, where everything's legal.
The preceding paid advertisement for The Best Little Whorehouse Goes Public was brought to you by Westward Productions.